Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. This is day 3 of the Daily Tidbit, and this is my second or third attempt to record this tidbit video, mostly because I've been struggling a little bit today with my lighting, with my chair being squeaky, and with feeling like I am comfortable on camera today. So keeping it real with you. But the thought occurred to me this morning to share about multitasking and talking about whether or not multitasking is a myth. So if you want to be more productive in smaller pockets of time, stop trying to do so many different things at once. This occurred to me this morning when I was attempting to walk on my walking pad here at my desk and write at the same time. It was an epic fail, with the exception of that this idea came to my mind. So maybe not a completely epic fail, but epic enough that I didn't feel like I was stable in my abilities. And as usual, I'm glancing over at my notes periodically just to stay on track for this video. So I decided, you know what? I want to look up some information on multitasking and whether or not it's actually something useful or if it does more harm than good. So here's what an article from Verywell Health has to say about it. I'll just glaze over the headlines and I'll link the whole article below in the description of this video. Or if you're watching this on my Substack or reading it, it'll be linked there. So they say that multitasking hampers productivity. Multitasking is distracting. It slows you down. It impairs executive function. Multitaskers tend to make mistakes. And they also talk about the brain function in multitaskers and doing several different things at once can impair cognitive ability, even for people who multitask frequently. So take that as you will. I just found that interesting, that information. But I see so much information out there on Pinterest, on YouTube. I'm not really on any other social media, but I see things all related to maximizing your productivity. And I don't know if I need to better curate my feed, but I feel like the reality is that multitasking isn't the productivity hero that some people make it out to be. Whereas there are other people who, on the flip side, want to argue that only focusing on one thing is going to be the best thing for you. So you've got two sides to the argument. So I wonder which side you're on, or maybe if you're like me and you're somewhere in between. So to keep things simple, science already suggests, this article that I just glazed over, and I'm sure there's other articles out there that I've looked at before and just haven't found recently, that suggests that multitasking can actually be damaging to, like I read, executive function. It can make you less productive because you're actually interrupting yourself when you have reached a flow state, for example. And it can ultimately result in less quality work and maybe even more exhaustion, like more mental fatigue. So my question to you and me is, what if you naturally switch gears? Like, what if that's just part of your natural workflow? I pose this as a question because it's actually what I do. But I do want to make something clear. I don't switch gears between unrelated tasks. My multitasking is usually made up of tasks that are both relevant and related to one another. So, for example, while I was writing this article for this video today, I found myself pausing to do some research. And The fact is I have to fact check myself while I'm writing if I want to actually feel like I can finish my project, my task of writing. And what's interesting is that for some people, this would actually disrupt them quite a bit. They would find this to be really distracting, but it's actually really helpful for my brain, which is interesting. My brain appreciates the pause. So what's the point? The point is that if you find yourself feeling chaotic in an unhelpful, nerve-wracking way that keeps you from making any real progress, for example, finishing the task from start to finish, it doesn't matter if you pause, the question is, did you finish? And so if you do feel that type of chaotic workflow where it's just stressful and you feel all over the place and you can't find your train of thought, you can't focus your energy and finish eventually, then you might want to consider reevaluating your productivity method. I noted a moment ago that the idea for this Daily Tidbit came from me attempting to multitask walking on my walking pad while writing at my desk. And what's funny is that walking and writing are not related tasks at all. Thus, my brain felt way too distracted by the split in my attention and focus. And this created an event where I could do neither task well. I just couldn't. I couldn't balance on the walking pad. I felt unsteady. I kept finding my thoughts were jumbled. I couldn't focus. I couldn't type as easily as I normally do. And my desk, which is pretty sturdy for being an adjustable desk that's an off-brand from Amazon, it was shaking. And my mounted monitors were also kind of wiggling and creating this little sound that was so distracting. So you get the point here. I found the whole process of trying to walk at my desk while working, while writing, to be extremely disruptive to my mental flow. Disruptive, to be extremely disruptive to my mental flow. So then the question is, what do you do? How can I be more productive in a way that actually means finishing what I started and finishing it well? I really want to incorporate more exercise into my life aside from, or in addition to, really, the housework that I do, because my full-time job is a homemaker, and anybody who manages a home knows that it really is a full-time job. You need 10 different qualifications practically of skills in order to keep a home running successfully and smoothly and safely. So I really wanted to start walking, and I bought this walking pad a while ago, and I've tried a couple times to use it at my desk, but it just keeps seeming like a fail. And so one of the things that I'm trying to figure out is, okay, how do I incorporate some exercise into my life without feeling like I'm sitting at my desk all day long? And a couple of the things that I've started to figure out for myself is, okay, maybe I'll just set a timer or an alarm to maybe in a kind of Pomodoro method kind of way, 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off, but maybe I'll adapt that to myself and my own working flow. And stand up and pull out the walking pad and walk, or maybe just do a couple laps around the house or do a workout video. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out, and I'll keep you posted on that. But I think one of the main things, though, that I do to shut out the unrelated distractions, right? The things that for me would disrupt my workflow. That is putting my phone on Do Not Disturb and only having a select few people in my favorites list. And then that is also, that looks like having some peaceful music on. And I talked about the music that I use, or how I use music to focus in yesterday's tidbit. So check that out if you missed it. But basically, to keep things simple, I only move between tasks that are related to each other. So if I am writing an article and I need research, I'll go get some research. If I'm in the process of copying and pasting my article from my word processor into Substack, and I need to pause to grab a link that I forgot to grab, or I need to go to Unsplash or somewhere to grab a graphic, an image, right? Or maybe I need to hop over to Canva to make something. These to me are all related tasks, but for some people, they're all completely different tasks that would distract them and stop them from being able to progress in finishing any of those tasks at all. So I just want to leave you with this thought. Multitasking, there are so many opinions on it. I say it's individual. I say figure out what works for you. I say I don't fully agree with any of the opinions because I think that we are each individual and there's no perfect productivity method out there that is a one-size-fits-all. There's no prescription method that's going to fix your inability to finish what you start. I really see finishing what you start as a choice. And I'm talking to myself on this too, because this is something I've struggled with a lot. And some of it has to do with discovering that I'm neurodivergent, and some of it has to do with just straight up making excuses and not doing it. Imposter syndrome, etc. So the way I see finishing something that I start is it's an active action. The choice to do it is an active action. Just like lasting real love requires a conscious decision aside from romance and emotions and feelings and all the spice and happiness. You have to make a conscious decision each day to keep going, to push through, and to stay committed if that's something you really want to follow through on. So here's the thing. You have to choose that you're going to finish the task, regardless of how you feel about it, regardless of how you feel in the moment, your emotions about things, and even inspiration. Because the reality is that inspiration even can at times be fleeting. Sometimes the work just needs to get done, and there's no other way around it. And even though I am the first one who's always trying to find inspiration, and I'm the first one who's always trying to create my space, set up my space in a way that's going to fuel my creativity, sometimes I just have to get to work. I have to consciously tell myself, I'm going to get to work. And that is definitely not negating self-care. If I find that my brain and my body just can't, I pause. I regroup. I go do something else. Coffee, tea, food, whatever, hydration, a shower, I get my mind off of it if I need to. But the point here is that whether you can only focus on one thing, or whether multitasking related tasks like me, or maybe you find yourself being able to balance multiple unrelated tasks even. That's literally the job description of a mom, which I am not. The important thing is that you don't allow the productivity hacks out there to pressure you. So that's what I wanted to leave you with today. Don't get pressured or manipulated by all of the gurus saying they have the perfect solution. Nobody does. Find what works for you. A hodgepodge of things may work for you. And that's it. All right, so that's it for, I think it's day 3 of the Daily Tidbit. I hope that you found something helpful today, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.